Chapter 4, Letting Go of Feelings. Did you know you don't have to have feelings? Did you realize you have the option to not have an emotion? You can stop hitting yourself with that emotional hammer. Not having feelings is a really legitimate way to live. The transition from emotionally reactive guidance system into intuitive knowing is a natural transition, though not an absolute segue. Again, you must embrace your emotions as long as is necessary in as balanced a way as possible, allowing as many experiences as life deems necessary to bring you to this transition. A transition that is eventually inevitable. You'll get there, but don't work at it. It's not about working hard to get there. It's not even about trying to get past your feelings. Don't force yourself or force anyone else. As you proceed and move into a space of unconditional love and acceptance, you will inevitably and effortlessly let go of feelings as the definition of who and what you are. Become aware, accept, and allow this peaceful transition from relying on emotions and feelings to moving into intuitive knowing. It will come peacefully, effortlessly, naturally. We are all on an individual spiritual journey together. For these reasons and others to be discussed, as we all make this transition from relying on feelings to engaging and living from our intuition, don't stop trying to have emotions, but simply become aware of the possibility of experiencing life without them. Then realize that you are going to release many stored emotions. These are not new emotions, but they are those that have been stored in your body, mind, and spirit, emotions that need to be released. These emotions may be past memories that are now being released by your higher consciousness in an orderly fashion and in the highest good. Emotions will still come up, but you will not be generating many new emotions, and not for much longer. Just be aware, accept, and release stored, old, suppressed emotions that simply need to come out. These are the primary feelings that are stored in us, that we have used to habitually respond to current situations, even though they are based on past experiences, and even past life experiences. Avoid judging them, for they cannot be judged. Just release them. A small part of you will continue to generate new emotions as you move into a space of greater consciousness, but it will be an insignificant amount, and they will continue to diminish as you move forward. As you go through this transition, some of your beliefs will be challenged. Everyone who has come to see me has done some emotional release as a part of his or her visits. We find that situations and emotions are tied into certain parts of the body. They affect the body and contribute to symptoms of disease. That's when we do emotional release. Sometimes people ask me to tell them what emotion they're releasing, but sometimes I don't know. If I do know, I only tell them what emotion they are releasing if it's in the highest good for them to know. Otherwise, it's irrelevant. The beautiful part is that most people who come to see me have moved into a space in which they no longer care what emotion is being released. They just want the emotion gone. They've been doing the practice, and they know their intuition without emotions is a much better guide. Emotions are reactions to reality based on past programming. They arise as a result of a reaction to reality. It becomes a personal choice to follow these old reactions. We follow them when we mistakenly think we can rely on them to guide us. I'm upset with what Sally did to me, so I'm not going to Sally's birthday party. Or, I'm angry with you, so I'm not going to get along with you. Yet in many ways, feelings are simply primitive reactions to life. We can rely on them until we realize that they are not the most credible and honest way to guide our lives. The emotion is unbidden, but the reaction is where the personal choice comes in. Instead of immediately choosing to follow those emotions, stop, reflect, and consult your intuition. Allow your intuition to choose your response rather than your primitive emotional reaction. I suffered so much when I chose to go with feelings that I had to eventually give feelings up for good. How many times do I need to hit myself in the hand with a hammer before hitting myself with a hammer is no longer a choice? When I know that I'm going to hurt my hand, I stop hitting myself. That's when. I was surprised when I learned this truth. I surrendered and began letting feelings go. I tried this out before I ever passed it on to my patients, or before I wrote about it. And as I moved into this space of releasing feelings and emotions, of course, that's when life challenged me the most. That's the amazing thing about life. It gives you what you need to grow in consciousness. So, that was exactly when my marriage became emotionally challenging, when my wife and I began to have children, and when I bought, renovated, and moved into a new building that God had given me in a vision years earlier. God, through life, gave me so much at once because those were the challenging times in my life when I'd fall back on feelings. I'd feel overwhelmed. There's just too much going on. I can't handle this. How could she do this to me? Doesn't she know how hard I'm working? Feelings, feelings, feelings. I had so many feelings. And sure, they were genuine, but were they good for me? Were they the best guides to my highest good and the highest good of my family? No! I just kept hitting myself with them. So this was an important time for me. Life brought me what I needed to put the hammer down for good. I don't have many feelings now, but when I get into a situation that triggers a feeling, I invite the situation and the feeling into awareness. I'm open because I know something I no longer need is being released. Life is cleaning me of something. When it happens to you, you will know. It is the truth. When life presents the possibility that you might not have your house in a month and you reply, okay, I'll be fine. And when you might not have your job in 3 months and you reply, okay, I'll be fine. That's when you know you're deep into the practice. So how do we release emotions? How do we surrender them? First, become aware again that feelings are not necessarily the best guidance system for living and acknowledge that at some point you won't need them. At some point, you will enter into a state of being where you will not have the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs of emotions. At some point, emotions will, believe it or not, cease to exist to a large extent. Second, become conscious of what feelings do to you, especially when you don't always know why you feel a certain way. Become aware of their source. You really don't need to understand your feelings any more than this. You need to get the unnecessary feelings out of the way because they are no longer in your highest good. People are at different stages in this matter. Most people are aware of their feelings and have worked with them to some degree. A few people have really done too much work on them and they just need to let them go. And there are some people who need to begin to experience their feelings first before moving on to releasing them. Yet, this teaching is applicable in your life no matter where you are in the process of growing more conscious. Third, as the practice teaches, embrace your feelings with the proper perspective. Love your feelings, whatever they are, and wherever they come from, but with the ultimate goal of moving beyond them to a place not of feeling, but of simply being. If you need to work on feelings to resolve and release them, then do so. But if you follow the practice, feelings will, and at some point, cease, naturally, inevitably. As you release your emotion, as you embrace intuition, as you follow the practice, you will be naturally released from addiction as a byproduct of the practice itself. You will be released from your quest for that sweet moment, that good feeling, as well as from your need to avoid those bad feelings. What will take the place of feelings, good and bad, sweet and painful? You will find a peaceful bliss in just being with life. And you can do this for all eternity. It is a sustainable alternative to relying on feelings. You will need no other external substance, environment, or person to achieve this state of peaceful bliss, which is not a feeling, but a state of being. As you grow into your intuition, as you rely on your inner intuitive truth to translate and interpret your external environment, you will find this peace. At some point, your inner reality will remain peaceful and unconditionally loving, no matter what your outer experiences may be. The practice gives you a stable inner foundation, a place of being from which to interact with life. These teachings also eliminate any need we may feel to protect ourselves from what some people call the darker energies, or evil, as it's been known for ages. I find such references quite hilarious. I used to protect myself from these energies because I once feared them. But as I developed my intuition, released feelings, and moved into a state of being, I now see everything as God and all of it as good. It was always all God and all good, but I didn't know it yet back then. So these darker energies that we fear, that we try to protect ourselves from, are lesser evolved fields of God. Remember, each of us is a field of God in life, and we are all a field of God, and so is everything else. So, what are we protecting ourselves from? Do you see? If you want to, if this is your time to, live sustainably in a peace of unconditional love and peace, then you have no choice but to live intuitively and be with life. If you are not conscious of the intuitive power in your life, if it is not a reality for you in any way, if it hasn't been awakened to any significant level, then of course emotions and feelings are appropriate and beneficial as a guidance system because they keep you safe. They keep you going forward. You learn, you grow. If and when it is your turn to evolve, you will at least know where you're going, to a space of peaceful bliss. And you won't be afraid of the unknown. Eventually, every one of us will arrive in an intuitive space of consciousness. It is the end of the story and the beginning, all at the same time.